Okay, we're learning Lil Nishmas, my father-in-law, David ben Eliezer, and the neshama should have an aliyah. Okay, we're in the midst of doing the Ketairis, the avoid of the Ketairis on Yom Kippur. Kohen Gadol has now got inside the Kachei Kedashim. He's put down the machta. He has acrobatically transferred the Ketairis from a spoon into his hands, both hands. And now the question is, how exactly is he putting it on the coals? How exactly is he putting on the coals? So we're about 5 lines up on Nun Beis, Amid Beis. Right? Nun Beis, Amid Beis. So Tzoberes HaKatairis Lagabi Gecholim. Now Tzobes Mashma, he just goes ahead and he puts it in one glob. We had a machlokes earlier, very quickly, whether he puts it down in one spot or he's mafaz, or he scatters it over the coals, right? The coals are scattered. Does he put it in one spot? So Tzobes Mashma, like the Daf Yomi Yoma, he puts it down in one spot. So Tzobes es HaKatairis Lagabi Gecholim. Tnan, Kimandom it's Soibra, like the Daf Yomi Yoma who says they put it down in one spot rather than scatter it. Tani Chodet Soibra Penima, he put it down Penima towards the Kachei Kedashim, She Chutzaloi, which is outside of him. So in other words, he put it down and then he worked it backwards. Penima means closer to the Pnim, and Chutzaloi, which is the bigger distance away from him, and then he worked his way back. The Tanidach Soibra Chutza, Shehi Penima Loi. He was Soibrit Chutza, which is closer to him. So it's Chutz from the Kachei, is working out this way. So the question is he working his way back, or is he going what? He is going forward. So Amar Abai says Abai Tanoim, it's machlokes Tanoim. It's machlokes Tanoim, which way he went. For Amar Abai, Mistaber Kman de Omar, Penima Shi Chutzaloi, that he put it closer to the Kachei Kedashim and he worked his way back. Did nan this is speaking about the regular Ketairis, guys, not the one on Yom Kippur. This is speaking of regular Ketairis. We go ahead and we teach him. We teach him. Hizar, be careful. Shaloi taskel tischal panecha shema tichve. Don't go ahead and put it in a place to gather it and go in a way that you're going to get burnt. Guys, figure it this way. Let's say I'm working my way. If I'm working my way back this way, I have it over here and I'm working my way back this way. So the smoke is going up beyond my hands. But if I'm going ahead and working my way this way, then the heat is I'm going to get burnt. So it makes more sense to say he put it outside from him and worked his way back rather than in front of him and did it forward, because in front of him, he's walking over the coals. Now, it's very interesting to think, what's the tzad? We said it's machlokes Tanoim. Apparently, Abai is answering this misvara, guys. This seems to be the svara, makes a lot of sense. If you're going to go ahead, let's say you have a soup coming up, a steam coming up. Are you going to work your way this way where you're going to pass over it, or you're going to work your way towards it where it's going to come up to you? So it makes l'chayru. What's the svara of Daf Yomi Yoma that you work it from you going forwards where it would burn you? And it said very interesting. He said, this is describing this Abai. What Abai is describing is the Ketairis that's done every single day. Under discussion by us is the Ketairis on Yom Kippur. Think about the coils or the coals on Yom Kippur versus the coals on during the year. During the year, guys, he went up. He took again either 6 or 4, poured it into 3. Walked into the base, into the Kodesh, put it on the Mizbeach Hazav, boiling hot coals, and then he did it, right? So that's what I'm saying over here now. Be careful that you don't burn yourself. Masha'en Ken Yom Kippur, guys, he already has taken the coals, put it down, gone to the base of Tinis. He's gone ahead and did the handful and put it in the kaf, so it had much longer period of time in order for the coals to cool down. So there can be an opinion that in fact he would work his way that way. It's a very nice svara to go ahead and explain a very difficult inyan, because a bias svara l'chore makes a lot of sense that you shouldn't go ahead and be working your way, which is going to go ahead and burn you. Tarabanan, it says v'nasan es hakataris ala eish lufnei Hashem. and you should place the Kataris ala Eish Lefnei Hashem. Lefnei Hashem means the Kodesh Kedoshim, means in front of the Kodesh. It means Lefnei Hashem inside the Kodesh Kedoshim. This is the pasuk that describes this the one of the highlights of Yom Kippur, putting the Kataris in Lefnei Lefnim. So what does that mean? Shlo yitakim mibechutz. You shouldn't put the Kataris on the coals outside. B'yachnis and enter, which is exactly what the Tzedaikim did. Lahaitzim yiliben shel Tzedaikim, to go ahead and avoid the mistake that the Tzedaikim made. Sheomrim yitakim mibechutz v'yikanes. Be metaking it outside and go in. That's what they held. My Darish, what was their drasha? It said, Kiba onan a royal al kapiris, for in a cloud I will appear al kapiris. Right? Malamed sheyitakim bechutz v'yachnis. Amon chachamim, like Kfanem, it says, V'nasan esaktaris al eish lefnei Hashem. When do you place the kataris, guys? When you're lefnei Hashem, when you're inside the Kodesh Kedoshim. You don't do it be'anan a royal. Right? Remember we had the Gemara earlier that the Tzedaki Taka did do it, and he either got his tongue came out and he got he was ended up in a garbage dump, or that a malach came and struck him in the head, and he had a calf mark and where his head used to be, So you're not fooling around with this. The Tzedaikim, they held be'anan ero'eh, when a cloud I shall be seen, and we say no. We say, when should you put it? Lifnei Hashem, when you're exactly Lifnei Hashem, bein abadim of the Arin. So therefore, imkein ma tamalem kibon ero'eh kapara. So good. So I granted, it means you're lifnei lifnim. But what do you do with the Tzedaikim's pasuk? What do you do be'anan ero'eh, that I should be seen with the cloud? Malamed shenoisten ba mala oshan. Malamed, you should go ahead and put in mala oshan. You should put in the ingredient that would go ahead and make the smoke go up like a stick. There was a special herb, some type of grass that was unique to the Beis Haftinis. Only they knew it. We had the Gemara earlier where I forgot the Tana. He met this person, Beis Haftinis, and he was crying. And why I asked him, why you're crying? So he goes, I was thinking about how the covet of my parents, and now there's no Beis Hamikdash. And then he started laughing. He goes, why are you laughing? Because they said, I saw Milo Oshan. So he goes, so show me the Milo Oshan. He goes, I can't show it to you. So you see, this Milo Oshan was something unique. How do you know that you have to put a Milo Oshan? Shnemar, v'chisa anan haketoiris es hakapoiris. And the anan should be, the Torah should be mechasa the kapoiris, and the only way to do that seems to be with this Milo Oshan. Now, mashma hoila nasan ba Milo Oshan. If you don't put in Milo Oshan, or shechiser achas mikol samaneha, or you're missing one of the ingredients of the ketoiris, chayiv misa. Then you chayiv misa. Okay, so now let's finish a little bit, and then I want to go back and explore something, because it's always been bothering me. V'tepikle the kamayla bia rekonis. In other words, fellas, if you would walk into the Kodesh Kedoshim for any reason, the halacha is you're chayiv misa, you're going to die. There's a certain way, and only that way, if he goes ahead and brings the Ketoris. If he brings the Ketoris, he can go in. In fact, guys, there's a Chayi Adam that says he can do it the whole year. In other words, if he, forget Yom Kippur, if he goes into the Chiddush Nifla of the Gra, he can go into the Kodesh Kedoshim any time of the year, provided he goes in with the Ketoris. You hear this? Not limited to Yom Kippur. Anyway, so why do you need a pasuk to tell me if he's missing an ingredient, he's chayiv misa for going ahead and burning a ketoris? That's wrong. Since it was missing an ingredient, he's mechuyev misa for just walking in. Forget the ketoris. It's a bia reikon. He's coming in for nothing. You can only come in with the ketoris. If it's missing in the ingredient, it's nishkan ketoris. It's not ketoris. So why do you need a pasuk to tell me he's chayiv misa for burning the ketoris that's not complete? Forget that. He's chayiv misa for a bia reikonis, for coming in empty-handed. That's why afraid the word. V'tepikle the kamayel bia reikonis. Rav Sheshes hacha b'mayaskin. What are we speaking about over here? Keep going. Sheshogag b'bia. He didn't know the halacha about bia. He's a shogig for the bia. Since he's shogig for the coming in, he's not chayiv misa. However, for his Torah, he does know you chayiv misa for what? For doing the ketoris the wrong way. So therefore, what? You will be chayiv for that. So very geschmack. Rav Sheshes another teretz afilu tema heze bezu. Bezu hitaka is what? Mason in both. He knows there's halacha b'yeri konis. He knows there's halacha of burning the ketairos the wrong way. And going the aisle shtei ketairos. He brings in 2 ketairos. He's a busy boy with big hands. Achas shlema, one is shalem, v'achas chesera. So Abiel Mechayev is not chayiv for b'yeri konis. The aisle shlema because he bought in a very very a good one. Haktar Mechayev, why burning it in Mechayev to come back to ketairos chesera. Okay, now what's this din of Maila Ashan? If you don't put in Maila Ashan, you chayiv misa. So let's go back in time, guys. Beis Avtinis was one of the mishpachos that was not mentioned in a positive manner. If you might remember, we had Munbiz was mentioned, Hilni was mentioned, Ben Gamla was mentioned, I forgot his name. The one who made the spigots.
Bar Cotton. No?
Bar Cotton. You'll check it up. You'll see later. But anyway, he all these people were mentioned in a positive way, right? And then we said, Beis Garmu with Lechem Aponim, Beis Avtinas, they weren't mentioned in a possible way. So they didn't want to go ahead and give their secret over. So what did they do? They hired people from Alexandria, Mitzrayim. They paid them a lot of money. And when they did the Ketores, it wasn't good. Why wasn't it good? Because they didn't have the Maila Ashan. How could they have brought it without the Maila Ashan? You see from over here, Maila Ashan, Yechayev Misa. If it's one of the inherent ingredients of the Ketores, like it's mashma from our Gemara, how in the world could they have brought it in the first place? You hear the kasha, guys? Says the Lechem Mishnah, there is 2 halachas. There's the halacha of Maila Ashan vis-a-vis the whole year, and there's halacha of Maila Ashan vis-a-vis Yom Kippur. During the whole year, ein achinami, Maila Ashan is a mitzvah min hamuvchar. To do it, that it goes up like that, that's a mitzvah min hamuvchar. But it's not ma'akit. If you would do it, if you wouldn't go ahead and put the Maila Ashan in, it would be okay. And that's what happened with the peace of Alexandria and Mitzrayim. But it wasn't a mitzvah min hamuvchar. It didn't go well. Masha ain't came the Ketores in Yom Kippur. No, Ketores Yom Kippur. It's not a mitzvah min hamuvchar. It's inherently a din in the Ketores. And if you don't have it in the Ketores, it's not Ketores. So that's the Lechem Mishnah's Mahalach. Very interesting Mahalach, right? There's shtei short Ketores. There's 2 dinim in Ketores. There's a din in Ketores during the year, and there's a din in Ketores in Yom Kippur. Says the pasuk. That's what the pasuk is teaching us. Despite the fact that the whole year, the Ketores, if you don't put in Maila Ashan, it still has a lach of Ketores, and you be yotzei the mitzvah of burning Ketores in the morning and the Ketores in the evening. On Yom Kippur, if you miss it, it says v'chisa ananas Ketores. If you don't do that, Ketores, you're not yotzei. Beautiful, beautiful pshat. Beautiful pshat. Amamar, going back over to Brisa. Uminayin shenoisim ba Maila Ashan. How do you know you put in Maila Ashan? Talmud Loimar, it says v'chisa. Now, the pasuk, guys, going back, it makes no sense whatsoever. Look at this. Says the Gemara. Why do you learn from the pasuk? You have to put in Maila Ashan. And how do you know that you have to put in Maila Ashan? It says why does a pasuk need another pasuk? You just quoted 2 psukim. Ba'anane roya 1 pasuk, b'chisa anana ketayris, the second pasuk. They're both teach me the same thing, that you need Maila Ashan, right? So l'chayra, it's peladik. Why does the pasuk need a pasuk? Fred Gemara, kra l'kra, right? Kra l'kra. I know what Kenny Miller's thinking. Kra l'kra, Amar Rav Yosef, hachi kamar. Says Rav Yosef, hachi kamar. Ainli ella ale Maila Ashan. I would think you can only use the leaf of the herb Maila Ashan. Iker Maila Ashan minayin. How do you know that you could use the root? So that's what this pasuk teaches me, that not only the leaf, but the root. Mashma from this Gemara, that the leaf is the ikar, that the leaf is the ikar Maila Ashan. Amalei Abaya says Abaya, for Ibcha Tanya, we learned the opposite, that the root is the ikar and the leaf is the tafel. The Tanya, nasan ba ikar Maila Ashan haya, nasan ba ikar Maila Ashan, they would put in the ikar Maila Ashan, meaning they put in the root, and haya metame v'oila, and it would go ahead and go up, kimako, like a stick, ad shemagia l'shmei kaira, till it reached the ceiling. Kimin shagia l'shmei kaira, once it reached the ceiling. So you see, guys, there was a ceiling in the Kach Kadashim. Mimashmesh v'yoyre, they would go ahead and begin spreading v'yoyre b'ksolim and go down the walls. Achin espale abayis oshan, the whole house was full of smoke. Shnemar v'abayis yimali oshan. So l'chayr, you have a problem. One place it's mashma, the first price that the leaf is the ikka, and the second one is mashma that what that the, and the second one's mashma that the root is the ikka. So elo amra bayahochi kamar, ainly ela ikka ma'ila oshan. Okay, let's switch gears. Only what? Not the leaf, but the root. Ale ma'ala oshan minayin. How do you know the ale? How do you know the leaf of the ma'ila oshan works? Talmud leimar. It says v'chisa. So that's what we're learning from the second pasuk. Two psukim. One to tell me that the root, and the second one to teach me the leaf. So that's one teretz. Rav Sheshes Amar, another teretz. Why? We're in two psukim. Ein liela oil moyed. I would say only what the oil moyed needs ma'ila oshan sheba midbar. I would say only in the midbar, only in the midbar. Shiloh, your base of love minayin. How do you know Mishkan Shiloh, and how do you know the base of Migdash? How do you know? You need Kataris Tamlema V'chisa, so you need Ma'ila Oshan there as well. How do you know you need Ma'ila Oshan? It says V'chisa. Fred Gemara, why do I need V'chisa to teach me that? Hi, V'chein Yasel Oil Moyed Hashoichin Itam Nafka. We said just like so you should do for the oil moyed. Mashma that you always in the oil moyed need Ma'ila Oshan. Ella, what do you do with the pasuk V'chisa Lev Sheishes Hachi Kamar? Ainly Ella B'Yom Kippurim. Only Yom Kippur I would say you need Ma'ila Oshan. B'Shai Masa Shonim Minayin Tamlema V'chisa. Obviously, the Lechem Mishnah is not going according to this teretz, guys. The Lechem Mishnah can't be going according to this teretz. The Mishnah Melech, guys. The Mishnah Melech can't be going according to this because it says over here, I'd have a half a meaning that what? That you only need Ma'ila Oshan on Yom Kippur, but not the rest of the year. Hamaloima V'chisa, you need Ma'ila Oshan the rest of the year. So l'chayr, you got a problem with this Gemara, how this Gemara goes ahead and shims with the Gemara with Alexandria from Mitzrayim, guys. Alexandria Mitzrayim, they didn't put Ma'ila Oshan. From this Gemara, it's mashma you have to put in Ma'ila Oshan. I think it discusses it back there again. I'll take a look. I think I saw the kasha in Taishas Yishanim, but I'm in fair one, so I'm just in fair one. So Rav Ashi Amar Chad leMitzvah Chad la'akev. One pasuk teaches me it's a mitzvah, and it's repeated. Tell me if you don't do it, it's ma'akev. Right? Rav Amar, another teretz Chad la'oinish Chad la'azhara. Want to teach me an oinish, want to teach me a warning. Tanya Rebbe Lezer Omer V'lo yomas. It says you don't go in with the tyrus, you won't die. Einish ki ba'anei roya zara. Yachlesh name Amorim koydem Mrs. Bnei Aaron. I might think both of these were said before the death of Bnei Aaron because that's the way they appear in the Torah. Hamalema achi Moshe Bnei Aaron after the death of Bnei Aaron. Yachlesh name Amurim achas Mrs. Shnei Bnei Aaron. I might think they both said after they're dead. Hamalema ki ba'anei roya like a pyrus. Okay, Tzad Hazara koydem Misa. They were warned before. But the punishment was only stated after they died. My Talmud, how do you see that? The pasuk says, for in a cloud I will appear. And Hashem didn't appear yet. Now, so the question is, so if he says that Yechayiv Misa only after he appears, so why were they Mechuyev Misa? They were never warned about a punishment. Well, in my time, why were they punished if the warning wasn't given until after their death? They pass on halach with Moshe. They didn't have a shus to paskin, and they pass on with Moshe. My Dorish says, "V'nasim le'yaron akoyin nation mizbeach ve'afa pisha eish yom mishamayim." Even though what the eish yom mishamayim mitzvah lehevi min ahedyet, it's a mitzvah to go ahead and bring. Even though it's yom mishamayim, there's a mitzvah to go ahead and bring their own. Now, there's many other reasons given for the death of Yaron. I'm just going to quote from the art scroll. They brought a carbon they shouldn't have brought. They brought the Eish Zara. They drank a Rivias wine. They were Chasa Begodim. They didn't wash their hands first. They didn't want to have children. There are a bunch of reasons given for the death of Yaron. Meaning, there's no clear-cut reason that they died. The Kravei Kadesh, these great people, these Kravim, the Kadesh, I'll be glorified with these Kaddish people, and that's why they died. Yatsu Bolay Derech Knisasa, he backs out. The Kohen Gadol backs out. Not immediately, how do he backs out? So Amarev Shmuel ben Achmeni of Yonasin Amakra, Vayobay Shlomo Lebama Asher Begivon Yerushalayim. And Shlomo comes to the Bama that was in Givon Yerushalayim. Now Givon is one place and Yerushalayim is another place. So what do you mean he came to the Bama that was in Givon Yerushalayim? V'chima Inyan Givoin Eitzel Yerushalayim. What is Givoin after the Yerushalayim? Ela Makish Yitziyasei Mi Givoin Yerushalayim. Make a hekesh leaving Givoin just like you came to Yerushalayim. L'biyasim Yerushalayim l'Givoin. Ma biyasim Yerushalayim l'Givoin. Just like when you come from Yerushalayim l'Givoin. Pan of Klape Abama, your face is towards the Bama. Kederech biyasai. After Yitziyasei Givoin. So when you leave Givoin, Yerushalayim towards Yerushalayim. Pan of Klape Bama, it should be in the Bama. So you go in looking this way and you go out looking this way. Kederech biyasai. V'chein kohanim b'avedasam. They would do the same thing. If they finished the avodah, they would back away. For Levium b'duchonim, if they finished on the bandstand, they would back away. Yisrael b'madim, Yisrael that was in charge of being by the korbanos of the Talmud b'shas as the shliach of Klal Yisrael, they would back away. When they would take leave, they didn't go ahead and turn around and turn their back to the avodah. They turned their face a little bit towards where they're going, and they backed away. Rabbi, a Talmud who takes leave of his Rebbe, should not turn his face back away from his, turn it completely away. Rabbi Loza was a Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan. When Rabbi Yochanan would get up to take leave, who gochen, and he would bow down. He would stay in place, and until Rabbi Yochanan left. But they couldn't see him anymore. When Rabbi Loza had to leave, he would go backwards until he couldn't see him anymore. Rava can have a mifta minei Rabbi Yosef. Rava, when you take leave of his Rabbi Yosef, he would go ahead and back away. He would back away, and often, I guess, he would, it's hard to see. He'd bang his feet on the askupa, on the lintel, and be bloodied. Askubasa the Rabbi Yosef, the house of Yosef, and Dama, he would have blood. Amalei Rabbi Yosef, Hechi Avid Rava. Rabbi Yosef was blind, so he said, "What is Rava doing?" So Amalei, they told him that he's backing away, and as a result, he's bleeding. So he said, "Hey Rava, the Torum Reishcha Akula Kracha." Rashi says you come to Rosh Hashiva over the whole krach, the whole city. You should come to Rosh Hashiva on the cover that you show me. Amar Rebbe Alexandra, Amar Rebbe Shuv and Levi, Hamispalo, guys, this is where it comes from. Shmon Esrei, Hamispalo Tzarech She'afsia Shalish Psias Lachoyrov. You have to take 3 steps back. Few reasons given. One, primarily when by Mount Torah there were three pargolis, 3 partitions between Kadosh Baruch Hu and Moshe. Moshe backed away 3 steps connected to 3 partitions. V'yakach shalom, and then you should go ahead and give shalom. Now the question is, are you giving shalom to Kadosh Baruch Hu or to his friend? It seems machlokes in the Paiskim. One says you're going ahead and speaking to your friend. In other words, you were in a Makom Kodesh when you're standing. Now you backed away 3 steps. So to go ahead and you're in a mundane place, you say shalom to your friend. I say shalom. Or no, you're speaking to Kadosh Baruch Hu. Amalei Rav Mordechai, kivin shepasa shalish pesios lachayrav hasam iboyle lemakim. And then you have to stand there. When you go back 3 places, you don't go back right away. You stand there. Mashal Talmud anifta mirabah. The Talmud takes leave of his Rebbe. Imchayz l'alta. If he comes back immediately, daim l'kelah sheshaval kiyay. Mamish l'lashni. It's like a kelah that's coming back to eat his vomit. Tanya nami hachi. I'm a spalal tzar she'afiyah shalos p'siyas lachayrav. Somebody goes ahead and it's spalal. He has to back away 3 steps. V'yakach eating shalom. The other would say shalom, like we say shalom. But we also can, if he doesn't say that, roy loishlei spalal. Better they shouldn't daven. Umishum Rav Shmaya Omru Shenoisin Shalom liyamin. First you say shalom to your right, v'yakach l'smol then to your left. Shneimar miyamino eish das lamo. In addition, the second pasuk says Yipol mitzitcha elef uruvava miminecha. Elef to your elef on your side and to 10,000 to your right. Why do you have to bring a second pasuk? Maybe it has nothing to do with chashivas. It has something to do with most people are right-handed. So maybe why are you going to the right? Because most people are right-handed, so that's your dominant side. Tashma yipul mitzitcha elef urvav b'necha. So you see, it's not that it's a din in practicality. It's a din in chashivas. There's a chashivas to the right. Rabbi Chazil Abaye the Shalom Yamina. Rabbi saw that Abaye was saying Oisa Shalom to his right. So all you guys are saying, 1 second, I always go to my left, and then I go to my right, right? Says Malay, misabisli yamindi dach, the small dach kamina. You go to your left. You know why you go to your left? because you can. No, the Havi Yamin Hashel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because why? That's the Yamin of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So when you're going to your left, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's, you're facing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's on your right. So we say, Ois Shalom B'Marav Hu Yash Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael. Okay. Amar Rav Chia Brei Rav Huna Chazin Lula Baya V'Rava the Psiolei Shalish Psiois the Kriya Achas in one bow. That when they went back, they went one bow and went back 3 steps. There's a shaila how long you have to wait when you wait. Some people you have to say, wait till Kaddish, the Kedusha. Some people say you don't have to wait. It's again, look at the halacha. Umispal tefillah ketzara beis achitzon. He would say a tefillah ketzara beis achitzon. He would say a tefillah ketzara beis achitzon. And what was? It doesn't say what the tefillah was. This is when the Kohen Gadol came out of the kachah. Now, just be aware, no one was there. He was the only one in town. Think about it. How many hundreds of Kohanim died, guys? They used to have tied to them to pull them out. You're talking about in a 420-year period, where we took away 120 years. We took away 80 from Rabbi Yochanan, 40 from Shimon HaTzadik, so 120. We took away 10 from Yishmael ben Pabi, 130 years. So a 380-year period, right? 420, right? To what? I can't hear you.
200, 280.
What did I say?
You said 380. So 280. So let's say 200 Kohanim died.
280. We had, and said over more. It says more than 300 died. So it's crazy amount of people died. So they were tied up and they were pulling them. They were schlepping them out. So can you imagine? They're delayed in there, and he's davening. He's davening a language Shmona Esrei. They're going to get very nervous. So he said a tefillah ketzara. So the question is, what was the tefillah ketzara? My matzli, what did he daven? So Rabba bar Abada, V'Rovim bar Abada, Shabayu Mishmei the Rav Amri, Yiratzim L'Fnech Hashem Elokeinu, Shetei Shana Zu Keshuma U'Shechuna. It should be hot and dry. Shchuna Mal Yusahi. Dry is a maila. El Ema Im Shchuna. If it's dry, they Keshuma. It should be what Megush. Rav Acha Brei the Rava Messiah Ba Mishmei the Rav Yehuda. Lo Ya'adei Ovid Shultin with the base Yehuda. Lo Yaseh Shevim Yehuda is that the Aramaic, it shouldn't go ahead and stop. The one who rules shouldn't pass over the base Yehuda. Okay. That's a modern tefillah, right? This is the tefillah saying in Kippur. So there's a sefer called Gvuras Ari. It was written by the Shagas Aryeh on Yuma, and he says a wonderful thing. We saw early in the Masechta that the Ketairis, guys, the Ketairis is mechapa for the Aveira that's done b'chashoy. The Ketairis is done without any fanfare. It's done quietly in the Heichel, and it's mechapa for the Aveira that's done quietly, the Aveira of Lashon Hara. That's what we say about the Ketairis. Good? The Gemara in Tainus says that why does the world suffer from parnasa, lack of parnasa? It's because of Lashon Hara. The main parnasa at the time was agriculture. So now it's very geschmack, says the Gvuras Ari. But Shas, when he brought the Ketairis, that Gufa was mechapa for the Lashon Hara, now he could ask for rain. That should be parnasa for Klal Yisrael, because it's Lashon Hara that stops the parnasa. So Gufa that this time, when he knows that they're squeaky clean because he just brought the Ketairis, which is mechapa for Lashon Hara, that's the time to ask for parnasa, which is it was ma'akev al yedei Lashon Hara. Geschmack Pshat, yeah? Okay. Anyway, getting back to Tfilis, Rabbi Yechini ben Doisa Habi Ko'ozl B'Orchib is going on the way. Shada Mitra Allah, it started to rain. Amar Rabbeinu Shleilam, Kol Olam Kula Benachas, they're all at home and they're all dry. V'Chanina B'Tzar, Pasuk Mitra, Yechini ben Doisa es, Tzadik Geiser, Hashem Mekayim, guess what happened? Boom, stopped raining. Kiyas Lebeisa, when he got home, Amar Rabbeinu Shleilam, Kol Olam Kula B'Tzar, because they need the rain for their crops. V'Chanina Benachas, Pasuk Mitra, started to rain. Amar Yosef, man, Hanas late slusa the Kohen Gadol Gabi Yechini ben Doisa. You can't compare the tefillah of the Kohen Gadol to the Yechini ben Doisa. There's no shaykhs. Different league. Tanrabanan. Ma'aseh b'Kohen Gadol. Echad was a Kohen Gadol. The Taigim Yonason, the Taisus Yishanim says it was Shimon HaTzadik. Sheherech b'tfilasai. He was Marich in tefillah. Must be early on in the 40 years. He was Marich in tefillah. V'nimnu achav ha'kahanim likonis achrav, and they were they refrained from going in, but they were getting nervous. They got very nervous. They began to go in. He came out. Some of them saying, why are you davening so long? Some of them, is it hard in your eyes that I daven for you and that the Beis Hamikdash should not be destroyed? Don't be ruggled to do that. Because the Mishnah says, don't be mark in the filler, you shouldn't go red rod and scare Chai Yisrael. Okay, let's do the next Mishnah. Mishenitel Orin, when the Orin was taken, when the Orin was taken, Evan Hoysa Sham, Mimos Nevi'am Rishainim, there was an Evan, a stone that was there from the Nevi'am Rishainim. Look at Rashi. Nevi'am Rishainim is David and Shmuel. That's David and Shmuel Mefarish from Masechta Saita, right? Now, why were they called Nevi'am Rishainim, guys? They weren't the first Nevi'am. He says because used to be Nevi'am would be called Royim, a Roya. So they were the first ones to be called Nevi'am. Nevi'am Rishainim doesn't mean the earliest Nevi'am. It means the ones that said the Carbonated that were called Nevi'am. Because before that, they were called by a different name. They were called by what? They were called by the name Roa, a Roa. So therefore, this stone was there from the Nevi'am Rishainim. It was called the Evan Ashasiya. There is a rush. No, I'm jumping ahead. There is a medrash that says this is the spot in the world that HaKadosh Baruch Hu began stretching. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, according to the Ramban, he created Yesh Me'ayin, one substance, one chaymer, one for Shemayim, one for Aretz. The chaymer for Aretz, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, should grow at Sha'omer die till it became 23 million miles. I think that's the world. It's 23,000 miles. It could be not 23 million, 23,000 miles, right? And it's making so much noise. And that's the name Shakai comes from, guys. Mishom Adai. When he said die, it's enough, the world's enough. That was the Evan Hashasiya. There's a rush. It's a beautiful shot. Yaakov Avinu, when he came to the Harabayas, right? Okay, he lied down in this place, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu comes to him in a dream. He says, "To the land that you're lying on, I'll give to you and your children." The kasha is, how much land is he lying on? No matter how big he is, he's lying on an X amount of parcel of land. So Rashi says of Madna Pshat, Rashi says, Kodesh Baruch Hu took Eretz Yisrael, he folded it up and put it underneath him. Says the Rosh, he was lying on the Evan Shasiya. He was lying on the root of the world. So since he was lying on the root of the world, the Kodesh Baruch Hu said, the land that you're lying on, you get everything as a result. That's the Evan Hashasiyah. It was 3 etzebois high, and on it, that's where the Oren was, and that was in front of there. That's where they would spritz. Nonetheless, Adam Yimisha Memaris, he would go ahead. Again, he's taking the dama. He finished the avodah of the Ketairis, guys, and now he's doing the avodah of the par. There's two avodas in the par. There's a spritzing in front between the bottom of the Oren, and there's spritzing in front of the Ketairis. Then you have the avodah with the seir. Before he would complete the avodah of the dam, he would first complete the avodas of the pnim. So, as we're going to see, I'm giving you the Mishnah outside. He'd first sprinkle the dam of the par inside. He would come out, put in a stand the dam of the par, shech the seir, take the dam of the seir, go inside, and now sprinkle the dam of the seir inside. He'd come out now, take the dam of the seir, put it down, take the dam of the par and sprinkle it in front of the paroiches, put that down, then sprinkle the dam of the soy in front of the paroiches. So it's not that he finished all the par first, he finished all the pnim first. It's not that he finished all the seir first, the seir in conjunction. He finished the first inside and then the outside. Says the Gemara, the Mishnah. He wasn't mechaven lahazes loy not on top of the kapiris, loy lamata not below. El kematzleif, like a person who whips somebody. Dun dun dun. The kachoyim achas like this. He would go one like this, with finger that way, and then he does 7 this way. Achas ve'achas achas shtayim achas sholosh achas arba achas chamis achas shvesh achas sheva. Yotzav inichu al kan hazahov shebehechol. he would take the dam of the par, go leave it on a stand in the heichel. Hevilu as a sayer, they would bring him the carbon sayer, the sheep, the goat. Shachtu v'kibul v'mizrak estama. He shechted. He would do a kabbalah. Nichnas l'makam shenichnas. He would go back into the kodesh kedashim. V'ama b'makam sh'amar. He would stand in the same place he stood when he brought the dam of the par. V'hizim imenu. The same thing. Achas smayla shevel lamata. V'kacho yamayna achas v'achas. I think Ari, you should be saying this. Achas v'shtayim. Right. Yatzav v'nichu al kanazov. Hasheni shebehechel. The second stand. He would put now the dam of the sayer. Now he's going to take the dam of the par and sprinkle in front of the paroiches. They only did one. It was interchangeable. In other words, when he put the par, the sayer, he just put one. Natal dam hapar v'nichu dam sayer. The hizim imen al paroiches. He now sprinkled the dam of the par in front of the paroiches. Shekeneged arim v'chutz. Achas l'mayla b'shevel l'mata b'leihoy miskavein. V'kacho yamayna. Natal dam sayer. Then he went and took the dam of the sayer. V'nichu dam hapar. He's the man al proiches shekeneged arim b'chutz achas mal b'shevel lamata ira dam apol dam seyev nosan al as hamale berekam. He then mixed them together. And we'll see he's going to put that on the mizbeach ha sohav. He's going to put that on the mizbeach ha sohav. Okay, Bez Hashem tomorrow. I don't know what time, but it will be posted before, hopefully in the morning. If not, stay tuned. I will post. Have a good